Good evening, and welcome to Game Night on Thursday, the 6th of October. Hope everybody is well. Welcome to the Hive. The Hive this evening, coming back for the second time in fairly recent days. Hello, Toppy. Yes, hello, Ben. Thank you, guys. I'm feeling much better, honestly. It's I thought, yeah, the world was going to end last week, but yeah, much better. I've still got a bit of a cough, so forgive me if I do start spluttering and wheezing off cam, or indeed on cam at any point this evening. But yeah, feeling much better. Thank you very much for saying that I'm sounding better. We'll stop that Hive bonus right there. Lovely to have you all here. Hope you're having a good week so far. Another Thursday rolls around. It is a Ben type thing, so it is. Anything else that I need to add? I can add that there is a message from our sponsor, Puzzle Dan.
Good mythical evening. If you know, you know.
I'm afraid I do not know, but I'm very grateful to you for the 100 bits, Puzzle Dan. Thank you very much indeed. Much obliged to you. So, Hive time, Thursday. Short stream tonight, short as the Hive ever is, because it's one of the longer games in the arsenal. I spent a lot of time with this recently, but rebuilding it in the Hackbox version of the Hive, which is not this version. This is the classic version that uses Twitch chat. I am going to be looking to migrate over to the Hackbox version on a more permanent basis moving forwards, but there'll be a few more bits I need to add to it, first of all, to make avatars be a thing and Twitch integration and all the rest of it. So yeah. Do you want my new shirt, by the way? I ordered some new t-shirts on QWERTY the other day. This one caught my eye. It's where's the button? That's not the button? No, that's the button. Where's the button? There. That was a lot of effort for that. Yeah, it's a honk Doom shirt, a Goose Doom shirt. So I've ordered a load of new t-shirts, and quite a few new formal shirts as well. Hello, Tyson. Welcome to the stream. It's the Hive. If you want to play the Hive tonight, if you just want to play in the Hive Mind, remember you don't need to join this lobby. If you do want to play in the Hive Mind, if you want to be the Queen Bee, as it were, then you need to join this lobby. You need to make sure you are in the Discord and that you've got a microphone so that you can come and talk to me as well. I'll be hanging out in the broadcast studio. But if you just want to play in the Hive Mind game, just ignore this lobby for now. But if you want to play, type in the code. Good evening to Andrew and Dragon and ABME and Prudes, James and Shapes, Mr. Vertigo, to Daru, Vision, Starskunk, It's Sotley, Puzzle Dan, G.I.'s and Jack Wilfred, Colo, Topper One, Tyson Bane, anyone else who is lingering, loitering and lurking in the chat. It's lovely to have you all here. Hope you are keeping well. Thank you so much for joining. First time playing the Hive. Oh, you'll like this one, Mr. Vertigo. A good one. If I say so myself. It's probably my favourite of the games that I have in my arsenal. Yeah, it's big fun. So this is the lobby you need to come and join if you would like to play in the Hive Mind and if you'd like to play in the hot seat and be our Queen Bee. If you just want to play in the Hive Mind, you can ignore it for a few minutes and then join in with the game as and when it starts. AQQI, Air Quality Index. Actually, quite interesting is what I think that stands for. Anyway, I think it's a bit quieter tonight. It's chat's a little lower, but maybe we've just got people not wanting to be in the hot seat, maybe just wanting to chip along with the Hive Mind. But there's 5 of you in so far, and I'll give it a few minutes to let anyone else join. If there's any late comers, because I am starting on time tonight. So I'll probably give it till 10 past to see if there's anyone else abroad who wants to come and play. And I should add at this point, it's a question pack from Oni tonight. It's one that I proofed, and it's a very, very slick pack. Very slick pack, as written by Oni. I think you'll get a lot out of it. Take this opportunity just to glance at the leaderboard, actually, the Hive leaderboard. Hello, Nato, welcome on in. There's the Hive leaderboard, there it is. So it's slightly still sitting on top with 750. Samster's in second with 520, Jack Wilfred in third with 425. Of course, the last time we played, Arun Aromatics gave us that great tragic battle of almost acing the first game, 11 questions out of 12, but then unable to read the Hive correctly at the end. He left with 188 pennies. I'd love to put him 11th on the leaderboard, but maybe your fortunes could be different this evening. You will have to wait and see. It's a particularly... it's a very favourable question pack. There's a lot of good stuff in here, a lot of accessible questions. And sorry, I'm just going to find out what's happening outside. What's happening? Is he bothering the cat? Oh, okay. Well, make sure he... Oh, here he is. Here he comes. Hello, Riff. Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the game. Dex, what's this? What's this, boy? What have we got? What's this? Up you come. Up you come. What's this? Hello. Hello. Oh, yay. Mr. Spaniel. Yes, I love you too. God bless you. You're doing blessings, are you? No? You're not staying? Okay. There's a show me the doggo. Andrew, you had her right there. That's a show me the pupper, actually. Doggo is downstairs asleep on... It's not really her bed. She's adopted one of the rattan cushions into her bed. But yeah. She's, yep, that Connie's going up there. Right, I'm going to give it till the end of this sting one more time. Yeah, he's not so little anymore. He's getting a big boy now. So he is. Right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in here. He's a lovely dog. He's very friendly, so he is. Right, I think this is the end of the sting on approach here, so I'm going to lock it up, and we are going to pick ourselves a queen bee tonight. Could it be you? Let's find out. Aha, we like shapes. You are in control of the Hive. If you'd like to make your way down to the green room, have a little chat with Cola and make sure your mic is all in order. And we'll get you into the game. I will share the screen while I'm at it. Screen 2. There we go. Just spilled a custard tart all over me at that. Okay. Well, we'll give you a couple of minutes just to clean up there. Hello, Scorecat. Welcome on in. Hope you're well. Bitstrava. Is that Estonian? I know Nastrovie is... Or is it Polish? I know Nastrovie is Polish for cheers. It looks like it's the same. Serbian, okay. Yeah, so what did I say? Estonian. That's the right sort of general ballpark there. Okay. My language knowledge is perhaps not as bad as I thought. Oh, hello. It's Dragon gifting out a sub to Topper. Topper, welcome back into the fam. Enjoy our free viewing for the next month. And Dragon, thank you very much for your generosity right there. Very kind of you indeed. I see shapes in the green room. You can use some emojis again now. You can use some emotes again, Topper. Odd Garrett, welcome to the stream. Good to have you with us. Hope you're well. Celtic things go, that's a bit vanilla. Very good. Very nice indeed. So, we should have a shapes with us in just a moment. And then our game can begin. It could be ages. Ah, there we go. Mr. Shapes.
Hello.
How are you, sir?
I'm doing okay, actually. How's it going?
Yeah, I'm good. Apart from your egg custard disaster, what's that all about?
Well, we just played our Connections Quiz League game, and it went quite well this week, so I decided to sort of crack open the cakes from the fridge.
Nice.
Thankfully, it's the small one, so it's just that one that sort of collapsed in my hand. All the others are fine and in one piece, so they've gone back in the fridge for later.
Are you keeping them on standby depending how well this game goes?
Well, I might feel it appropriate to get some more out if it goes well. Yeah.
Or if it goes badly, then they're there as a sort of you tried comfort prize, perhaps consolation prize.
Prize, yeah.
Are you big into sort of cakes and baking yourself? Are these sort of shop bought ones?
These are shop bought ones, but I did get into sort of trying to learn quite a bit of that over the sort of last couple of years when we've not been able to go anywhere quite a bit. So I've been going through various books that I'd acquired but never really had the time to have a go at before, and have sort of gone through various things in there with
and have you got
different levels of success.
Have you got a favourite dish or something to prepare, since we're on the subject of food?
The one I sort of really quite like doing at the minute was a kind of sort of coconut cream cake, which was back in the days when I could fit a 4-layer cake in the fridge in the place where I was living. I had to do a slightly more modest-sized version of it if I did it now.
That sounds very experimental. Well, not experimental, adventurous in terms of what I consider to be highbrow baking. I mean, I made a banana bread last night.
They're good.
It got to about 10:30, and I thought, I want a banana bread. And we had some bananas that were going black, so I thought, well, let's crack on, make hay while the sun shines. It's come out really well. There's about that much of it left. So the banana bread doesn't last very long in this house. But I'm sort of finding my...
Banana bread's good for bananas that have gone just beyond that point where sort of eating them as bananas.
Yes, there would be, if anything, too flavoursome at that point. But they're good in a...
They sort of fall apart as soon as you peel them.
And you just give them a bit of a mash, and then in they go. Yeah, I'm finding it quite cathartic, actually, a little bit therapeutic. Well, maybe we should do a cross-community bake-off.
Oh.
That'd be an idea. I could start that, and we'll just have to imagine what things taste like. You have to take my word for it. It tastes excellent, and then vote based on looks alone or something. I don't know.
Photos and presentation.
I haven't fully thought this through, granted, but it could be fun. Just an idea. Anyway, it's fabulous to have you here, Shapes. Have you played the Hive before?
I've played as part of the Hive Mind, but not as the lead player.
Not as the Queen Bee. Okay.
Not as the Queen Bee, no.
First time in this evening. You are familiar with the rules, though?
Yes.
Good stuff. Well, I will refresh you along the way if and when required, and of course for the audience game. If you're playing along in the audience game, if you are part of our Hive Mind, all you've got to do is whisper your answer. It will be A, B, C, D, or E to Persephone's Twitch bot within the 20-second window that you are allowed to do that. And if you're not in the game already, you will automatically be added to the game. You get more points in the Hive the more people get it wrong. The long and short of it is, though, you're in the Hive, you're trying to get the right answers. For Shapes, it's a little bit more complicated, but we'll explain that as we go. Shapes, the best of luck to you tonight. This is your game. Are you ready to play?
I'm ready.
Let's go to phase number 1. And a reminder again, this pack comes to us from Oni. Phase number 1, here is your board. Which of these items represents the wedding anniversary with the highest number of years? Which of these names represents the greatest number of kings of England? Which of these one-hit wonders had their one-hit single the earliest? Which of these sporting moves earns the highest number of points? And there's Oni in the chat right now. Welcome to the stream. 2 options going to be displayed on this first question. You'll see 3 of these questions. The one you don't see will go to the final phase. And for every one you get right, 10 more points get added to the reward. So a number of strategies that you can play. As you know, you can either answer yourself or use the Hive Mind. Anything there leaping out at you? Any strategies you've got in mind?
No, I didn't really sort of give this any prior thought, and it might have been a good idea to at some point for when I did get picked, because I didn't know when I would be picked, if I would. So now this one's coming up with 2 options. It's going to be sort of relatively straightforward, so it might be a good one to sort of use a question that might be tougher with 4 or 5 options. So I'm going to go for the first one about the wedding anniversary question.
Wedding anniversaries. Okay, 2 options. Nice and quiet from you for now, Shakes. We'll give it to the Hive first of all, and then we'll come back to you and we'll have a little chat. Hive, over to you. It'll be A or B for this one. Here is your question. Which of these items represents the wedding anniversary with the highest number of years? Diamond or emerald? Time. Okay, we're coming in with a wedding anniversary question. 19 players in the Hive have attempted that one. Your thoughts?
This is quite straightforward, it's turned out, and I'm just thinking, is it better to use the Hive because I'm fairly certain that they will have got this right, or keep it for later?
So I think you've got
question that I'm
So I think you've got to balance
certain.
out. Is there going to be a question come up that you won't know, but you think the Hive will know, where you might need to trust them later?
That is, well, yeah. The thing with this game is because it's got multiple phases. I can see sort of how going with it works. Going in one direction works this time, and if that doesn't work, possibly change that method in the later phases.
What I will add at this point is if you answer yourself, you have still got all 3 question answering options open to you moving forward, so it does keep it. Whereas if you use trust or mistrust now, once they're gone, they're gone.
I think I might do that just so that sort of I can try different things out depending upon how the later questions go.
Okay, so what are you
so I'm
going
going to play this one myself. I'm going to say it's Diamond.
We lock in Diamond. Out of the 19 players who answered in the Hive, and I need to unbold that. There's so many changes I made to the new version, but not this one. I must go back. Green if you're right. You're right. 100% of the Hive getting that one right. Very well done there. 100%, nobody going wrong. Yes, of course. Diamond, which is 70. Emerald was actually the second highest answer up there at... sorry, Diamond is 60. What am I on about? Platinum is 70. We've just had the Platty Jubes. I should know that. Diamond is 60. Emerald is 55. Other options that might have come up there, Sapphire at 45, Ruby at 40, and Pearl at 30. So RNG's been really very friendly to you with that question, I would say. So throwing Sapphire and Ruby up there could have put a cat among the pigeons, possibly. But made the right decision, as have the Hive. 1 point for you in the Hive. You get 1 point for every person who was wrong, plus 1. So there's just a single point because no one got that one wrong. On we go, back to the board. So 30 points for this next one, and 3 options will be displayed.
Okay, so the 2 in the middle seem like they might be worth keeping for later on.
Okay.
Because there'll probably be ones where having all of the options avoids a sort of thing where the sort of RNG puts 2 options close by that
I'm with you.
that are sort of near each other in the full ranking. But I'm guessing from the sort of kind of open wording of the sports question that this might be a question that covers multiple sports. So it might be worth doing this while there's still only 3 options. So I'm going to do the last question next, the sporting moves.
Sporting moves. Over to you, Hive. 3 options, A, B or C, and here is your question. Which of these sporting moves earns the highest number of points? A drop goal in rugby union, a hit in the blue target zone in archery, a goal in handball. Time. And 21 players have attempted this in the Hive. Are you, any of those sports mean much or anything to you?
I think a hit in the blue target zone in archery. I think the blue is the sort of third colour going outwards because you've got the gold in the 9 and 10 rings and then red for 8 and 7. I think blue is 6 and 5. Drop goal in rugby union. I can't sort of... Because I know a converted try is like... Is that 2 and 5? So that's 7, but I don't know how the scoring of a drop goal... sort of differs because that's like from running play rather than from a sort of where they kick it from the fixed point. Goal in handball, I think that's like just 1 or 2 points, because I don't think handball scores go stratospherically high. They're higher than like football scores or something, but I'm sure I see them like in the region of sort of matches finished with like scores of like 20, 30-ish.
Right.
So
it sounds like you're sort of semi-ruling out C.
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
I'm trying to work out if this is something the sort of the Hive will know it or not. These are all quite relatively obscure. And it's like, even rugby, which I think is the best known of these sports, you need to know at least one of the other options here as well to do it as work out the comparative. So
you've got 21 players answering it. So all 3 options available. You can, if you answer yourself, you must use the Hive next time. Is one thing to bear in mind. So it depends how confident you're feeling. What are you going to go for? Where are we going?
I'm going to go for hitting the blue target zone in archery.
You're going to play yourself?
That. Yes.
Okay. We will lock in B. And we'll see how the Hive got on. 21 players attempted. Green if you are right. %81% were correct, and they agree with you, Shapes, that indeed the blue target zone in archery is the most. As you correctly pointed out, it's 5 or 6. Drop goal in rugby union would be 3, and a goal in handball, as you also pointed out, would be worth 1. The 2 that didn't come up, because I know Oni will never forgive me if I don't say them, a slam dunk in basketball, which would have been 2, and a head punch in taekwondo, which would have been 0 points, as it's not a legal move, and will likely result in your opponent earning a penalty point instead. Very well played. You've got to the right answer. You must use the Hive next time. Whether you trust or mistrust them is entirely up to you. But 5 points if you were among the 81% who gave me B there. Let's go back to the board. 40 points for this next question. 4 options to be displayed. Kings of England or one-hit wonders?
I'm trying to think, as I've got to use the Hive here, I want one that's sort of...
You want one that's either a dead
most
cert or really challenging. That's kind of what you want to hedge your bets on.
I think, and then there's the consideration of which of these to keep for the final phase.
That too.
I think let's go for the one-hit wonders question.
Okay. Out of idle curiosity, and you don't have to answer this if you think it's going to affect the strategy, are you thinking this is one the Hive will know or will not know en masse?
I'm thinking, given that this will probably be possibly more British-centred, and there's a sort of fair number of international members of the community here, it may be one where the number of people who don't know and have to guess spread across 4 options is going to make it less likely. But I'll see how the options come up. If there's sort of a very well-known early one, then it may well be that it's something clearly everyone's going to get.
Well, let's find out. We'll give it to the Hive. 4 options for you, Hive. Take a look at this. Which of these one-hit wonders had their one-hit single the earliest? Biz Markie, The Vapors, Scatman John, Las Ketchup. Time. So, you can't play this one yourself. 21 have answered in the Hive. Any of those meaning anything to you?
Well, yeah, this is a bit tricky now because sort of 3 of these look like they're much more recent than the other, but the thing is, I'm looking from that as a perspective of I'm quite old, and there are quite a few people here who weren't born at the time of some of these. So I'm thinking, just because it's from my perspective, it seems quite straightforward. Is it going to be like that for everybody else?
That's the decision you've got to make.
20-something people here.
21 have answered that one.
I'm going to sort of assume that because some of these are sort of like slightly meme-worthy and be known in that way, that the Hive will know this. I want to trust them on this one, I think.
You're going to trust the Hive, okay?
Yes.
Curiosity, if you were playing yourself, what would you have said?
I would go for the Vapors, because that's the one that isn't in my living memory.
Okay, we're looking to see lots of green from the Hive, hoping you've gone for the Vapors. Ooh, a bit divisive at the beginning. We have found plurality. In fact, it's a majority, just over half, 57% giving the Vapors. Yes, the Vapors turning Japanese, released in 1980. Biz Markie was next, Just a Friend in 1989. Scatman John released Scatman in 1994. And Last Ketchup released the Ketchup song, Acerejé. I'm assuming that's what Acerejé.
Yep.
2000. Acerejé, my Spanish.
It's
in 2002.
The sort of phonetic representation of a Spanish person hearing Rapper's Delight for the first time.
Oh, is it? Oh, okay. That's kind of fun.
Say
We'll do it in A minor. Acerejé. And it's like two chords. Oh no, three. It goes down to an F at one point. But yeah, and the other one that could have come up there was Blue Swede, who didn't come up, whose one-hit wonder would have been. Do you know?
I don't know that one actually.
Ooka chaka, I'm hooked on a feeling. 1974, which didn't come up. But if you did give me the Vapors in the Hive, then 10 points to you, because 9 people got it wrong. 57% plurality and majority, which is what we want to see. Good decision there, Shapes, to trust the Hive. Wasn't necessarily an easy choice, but you made the right one, and that'll be 40 points going to you. At the end of the first phase, so let's just check out the leaderboard. You're up to the maximum 90, and look at this, we've got 10 players on a perfect game and with 16 points. Very well done so far, but plenty more questions to go. Shapes, solid start, 90 points. That's the end of phase number 1. So fairly pedestrian so far, it would seem. Doesn't sound like you've had to make too many tricky decisions, and your knowledge has been solid all the way through. The questions do get harder, of course, but you. Yeah. That must be a fairly comfortable feeling at the start of the game so far.
Yeah, it's good to get a sort of few, a sort of a completely right set altogether, because I don't know what it is, but as a player from like the sidelines, I am generally not very good at this game.
Oh, really?
I have had. There's been one occasion when there's 17 questions overall, something like that. I once came out with got to the end and found I'd got 2 correct.
Oh no! Goodness me. Well, it is partially RNG. The RNG does add an extra element to this game, but you're doing fine so far. You're 3 for 3. We're going to try and add as much more as we can to your bank. If you're ready, we'll play on.
Let's go.
Phase number 2. 50 points for this first question, starting again with 2 options, and here's your board. Which of these fonts was designed the most recently? Which of these SI units has a symbol with the highest English Scrabble score? Which of these colours represents the lowest DEFCON level? Which of these shows won UKGameShows.com's Hall of Fame poll for Best New Show in the earliest year? So, mixing it up a little bit here, we've got some board games, the standard Oni font question, DEFCON stuff, which is sort of getting more political, I suppose, and game shows, which is very much in our wheelhouse. What do you think?
Right.
Bearing in mind at this point we've already got Kings of England going into the final phase.
Yes.
So just keep that at the back of your mind.
I've not given any consideration to sort of what kind of collective set of questions I want for the final round.
Always worth keeping in mind. Oh, is it really
Okay,
only?
yeah.
Oh, apparently it's the first ever font question Oni's written. I felt like it had to come... I sort of felt like because Sam always puts an Australia question in, I thought it's very much Oni's wheelhouse. Sorry, Shapes. Thoughts?
Cool. I think I'm going to go for the DEFCON question.
Okay.
While that's on two options, that'll be a more appropriate one to go for.
Okay, two options for the Hive, A or B. 50 points up for grabs for you, Shapes. And Hive, here is your question. Which of these colours represents the lowest DEFCON level? Yellow or green? And that's your time. Are you familiar with the DEFCON levels?
I'm familiar with what it is. I can't recall what it stands for, but I think it's like the sort of how they assess the threat of nuclear war, like the likelihood of how close we are to it.
Indeed.
I'm now basing my answer here purely on the title sequence from Deutschland 83.
A solid point of reference.
Which it does appear in. The problem is that was the first series. That's like 6 or 7 years ago. But I remember sort of during the kind of montage of 80s, 80s German imagery, there is a sequence of the DEFCON thing counting downwards.
Mm.
And I think it goes sort of as it gets closer, it goes from green to red, like for the sort of green, yellow, red sort of danger scale.
Okay.
So I think the lowest DEFCON level would be green. And I think just to keep the options open, I will go for that.
You're going to play yourself.
Play it rather than sort of trust or mistrust the Hive, although I think the Hive are very likely to have overwhelmingly got this right as well.
Okay, we will lock in B green. Play it yourself, keep your options open for the next questions. After this question, I am going to have to nip downstairs because it sounds like something might have happened, but we'll lock in green first of all. And of the 21 players who played in the Hive, let's see if you were right. Green if you were. Ooh, that is a very interesting split there. 43% of the Hive were correct, which means the plurality were wrong. You could have got there by mistrusting the Hive. 57% agreed with you that green was the lowest, but as Oni has cited here, there is a potential tripping hazard. The lower the number, the greater the risk. So white represents cocked pistol, i.e. nuclear war is happening or is about to happen, whilst blue represents DEFCON 5, which is the normal setting. And in between that, going from blue to red, you go green, then yellow, then red, and then white. So the lowest DEFCON level would be white, but of the two that you've got up here, it was yellow. So tricky question, and not made easy by those options either. But 13 points if you did give me the right answer in the Hive there. Very well done if you gave me a yellow. 43% of you picking up 13 points. Shapes, if you want to have a quick look at the board, I'm just going to go and investigate what's happened downstairs. Give me 10 seconds or so.
Sure.
It's fine. My wife is actually home now. Turns out the dog has eaten... You know I said there was that much banana bread left? There isn't anymore.
Oh, yeah.
The dog.
Oh, dear.
The dog got it, so that's very
The dog's
upsetting.
happened to it.
The dog has happened to it, yes, indeed. I left it on the worktop well out of reach, but he's a resourceful spaniel. Right. Did we think about where we want to go next?
Yes. I think it's going to be the question about, I think, SI units.
Okay. SI units, 3 options to be displayed. 50 points still up for grabs for you, Shapes. Hive, here's your question. Which of these SI units has a symbol with the highest English Scrabble score? Joule, Kelvin, or Ampere? Time. So, Scrabble and science. 20 players attempting this in the Hive. All three options to answer open to you, Shapes. Do you know this one?
I think so. I think that it's. I think it's one that the Hive are probably going to know as well. Unless I've sort of missed something here, these are all sort of straightforward enough that the symbol for all of these is the first letter of the word. I don't think there's any sort of tricksy ones come up here.
Okay.
And they're sort of quite well known. They're sort of quite well spread out in terms of their Scrabble value as well. Because A is 1, K is 5, J is 8. I've sort of talked about this many a times with my Scrabble question friend Arun.
Indeed.
And yeah, I think enough people here are going to know this to sort of tip the plurality to the right answer. So I think I'm going to trust the Hive here.
You're going to trust, okay? And out of interest, if you were playing yourself, you would have gone Joule?
Joule.
Yeah. Let's trust the Hive. Silent Marie, welcome to the stream as well. Let's trust the Hive and lock in the correct answer, which is Joule. So we're hoping to see lots of green. You've anticipated the Hive will probably do quite well on this. Let's find out. Green if you're right. Spot on. And yes, well, good read of the Hive there as well. 75% opting for the right answer. As you pointed out, J for Joule, which is 8, K for Kelvin, which is 5, and 1, A for Ampere, which is 1. Other ones that could have come up, Volt, which would have been V and 4, and Coulomb, which would have been C and 3. Good decision. 6 points if you gave me Joule in the Hive there, if you're among the 75% who got that right. Very well played. And another 50 points to you, Shapes. One more in this phase. Game shows or fonts. Bear in mind we've got Kings of England in the final already, and the one you don't pick will be added to that.
But the one that goes in the final is one where I don't actually sort of have to answer it, is it?
Correct.
That's one where I'm just sort of answering based on what the Hive are going to say.
Yeah.
In that case, this time I want one that feasibly I might have to answer myself. So let's go for the UK game shows.
Okay.
Poll, please.
Hive, over to you. 4 options to be displayed. Take a look at this. Which of these shows won UKGameShows.com's Hall of Fame poll for Best New Show in the earliest year? The Wall, Secret Fortune, Breakaway, Impossible. Time. And it is, I'm sure, no accident that these are all games that our great friend Ash has implemented at some point over at Quiz Night, as is indeed the missing answer, which I won't reveal just for now to save giving away any more information. Now, you can mistrust the Hive if you don't think plurality will get this, or you can answer yourself. 20 players have had a go. What are you thinking? Yes, in some form, Scorecount. The Wall, I know, was a sort of external build, but the other 3 certainly have been implemented by Bash.
It's difficult for me to actually read what the Hive might say on this. I mean, I've got it down to 2, and I think I've got one I'm leaning to more out of those.
What are the 2 you're thinking?
So I'm pretty sure it's not The Wall or Impossible, because they're the ones that have sort of come along in the most recent years.
Okay.
And sort of the way I sort of place things time-wise is like either the house I was living in and remember watching it in, or the job I was doing at the time. And much of the time over the last sort of 10, 15 years, I've been in the same place, and these all cover that sort of time period. So I'm trying to trace.
You've got no IRL point of reference in terms of where you were moving or living at the time.
No. But I think Secret Fortune was longer ago, because I think I remember seeing that back on a visit at home, which I've not been able to do so much in recent years. Mm-hmm. So it would have been some time when we had a Saturday evening where not much was happening, which would have been longer ago. So I think I'm going to play it. I'm going to say Secret Fortune.
You're going to play yourself?
Yes.
All right, we'll lock in Secret Fortune. And let's check out the Hive. 20 players attempted it. Green if you're right. Good decision. And actually mistrusting the Hive would have been in error there. 50% going for Secret Fortune. 11 points to you if you are one of the 10 players who gave me Secret Fortune. Very well played. Yeah, Secret Fortune way back in 2011, the year before Breakaway, which was 2012. Impossible 2017.
I didn't realise they were that close together.
Yeah, very close by. Impossible 2017, The Wall 2019, and could you fill in the gap knowing that it's an Ash the Bash implementation? What goes in the middle between 2012 and 2017?
2012 and 2017, would that be... Oh, goodness, I can't think what else is there. It won't be all clued up, because that predates all of those. The Vault would be too early as well.
Think String Quartet.
Oh, 1,000 Heartbeats.
1,000 Heartbeats in 2015, indeed. The one answer that didn't come up there. Made the right decision, though. Good to trust your instinct and go for Secret Fortune there. Let's check out the points in the Hive Mind at the end of Phase 2. You're up to 200 points, Shapes, doing rather well. A couple of 2 answers. And we've got 4 players tied. No, we haven't. We've got 1 player tied. We've got 4 players who got all 3 that round. Dragon, ABME, Riff, and Calibrated Vision. But we have got a distinct top 3 at the moment. Vision on 46, Riff in second on 41, ABME's in third on 36. A couple of players there on 35, but yeah, those are the scores at the end of Phase 2. And Shapes, you've only missed 1 so far. You're up to 200 points. That is the end of Phase number 2. Doing rather well. Say we missed that one question on the DEFCON levels. Bit of a sneaky question there, but other than that, fairly plain sailing. We've got Kings of England and we've got fonts going into the final phase at the moment, but we need to add 2 more questions to them, which will come from the next 2 phases. If you're ready to carry on, let's go to Phase 3.
Oh, yes, ready.
So it didn't sound like it needed a response on that part. But,
it sounded like we're going to lead into it and, yeah, sort of pick up from the after the animation.
But no, we'll go to Phase 3. It sounds like you're ready. Let's go. 2 options to start. 70 points for this first question, Shapes, and here is your board. Which of these Jackbox games premiered on the earliest Jackbox Party Pack? Which of these ABBA singles was released the earliest? Which of these London Underground lines contains the most stations? Which of these countries debuted in the Men's FIFA World Cup the earliest? So, games, pop music, London geography, or transport, I suppose, and sport.
Now I'm thinking it might be good to use the Jackbox question first, because I don't know sort of how... Because I know we're up to nearly the 9th edition in the series.
Indeed, yes. Toad Boy is doing a preview of that on Saturday night, I believe.
Oh, yeah. But I saw initially he mistakenly set start time of that for 8 p.m.
Yes, that's a slight conflict of interest there, but he's moved it post stream, so we'll be raiding into Bash's server on Saturday.
Cool. Yeah, I'm not so good on sort of placing which games first appeared in which packs, because some of them appear in multiple packs as well. Yes, indeed. So it's not simply a case of knowing which game is in which pack. So this might sort of be a tricky one to pick out relative to other ones if it was left till the final phase.
Okay.
And it might also be a difficult one to work out otherwise. So I might have to sort of come back to that later.
Okay.
I think for now, let's go for the countries that debuted in the World Cup, because that might be one that sort of needs to have fewer options.
Okay, we'll load that question up. Hive, over to you. Which of these countries debuted in the Men's FIFA World Cup the earliest? Australia or Denmark? Time. Australia or Denmark? 20 players have attempted this in the Hive. Any strong thoughts yourself?
I think Australia it's sort of a bit like with the US, where having their own version of what they call football as a different sport from soccer meant that they sort of arrived on the world stage in soccer somewhat later, whereas Denmark sort of were definitely around as a force in the 80s and 70s, and quite possibly before that as well. Especially, in fact, almost certainly before that, because there'd be a lot of other countries that also hadn't sort of come along at that point, as in terms of sort of being elite, world elite level football teams. I imagine it's something that the Hive are going to have got right as well. So it's a case of, do I play this in my own right or trust the Hive? Whereas if I think if I play it now, then keep the option to trust the Hive later on.
Gives you more options for subsequent questions.
It may have more options. So I think yes, I'll do that. I'll say Denmark.
Gonna play yourself, Denmark?
Yes.
Okie dokie, we'll lock in Denmark, and we'll see how the Hive got on. 20 players have attempted it. Green if you're right. Oh. It's a lot of red lights, and they're thinking the same way as you. And unfortunately, it is not the right way.
Wow.
Only 20% going for the correct answer. Australia there. Very well done if you are one of the 2 players who gave me Australia, or possibly 3 players who gave me Australia there. Yeah, Australia were way back in 1974. Denmark didn't debut until 1986.
Okay.
For World Cup. Tricky options come up there. The most recent would have been Japan in 98. Turkey in 54 and Egypt in 34. But yeah, the Aussies have been around for a long time. It's a wrong decision, but also trusting the Hive there would have also led to a wrong answer, so only mistrusting could have helped you there. Not to worry. Well done if you did get some points there. Let's go back to the board. Still 70 points available. 3 options with this question.
Okay. Again, London Underground, I mean, I know it's sort of the general image of the map is quite well known, but I don't know sort of in what detail it's known to
You're a London
everyone
bod,
who lives outside of London. Yeah, I'm out in the wilds of Western Zone 3.
Oh, fine, okay. So, London.
Yeah, yeah, just sort of far enough out that it's you can actually breathe when you go outside.
Right. Okay.
So I wonder, maybe do I play that one first or later, or should I play that one so that yeah, I think that might be one to sort of keep for the last question. And for the third one, I think possibly playing the Jackbox question is going to be better. So let's play that one.
Jackbox?
Yeah, I think while I've got all 3 options on how to play the questions.
I'm with you. Let's load the Jackbox question up. Hive, over to you. 3 options with this. Which of these Jackbox games premiered on the earliest Jackbox Party Pack? Bracketeering, Split the Room, Talking Points. Time. Having played Jackbox a grand total of once, these are not things that I recognise. I don't know about yourself.
I recognise all of them, but yeah, like I say, I don't know how long they've all been part of the Jackbox canon. So I know it's something that is very kind of popular amongst the community. Like, it's a sort of common thing that we have on the Discord here, and I know there's sort of streams where they sort of mainly just play the Jackbox games on stream. So I know they are well known. They've got enough of a following. I think because there are 3 options here rather than 4 or 5, that some of the people who are guessing are also going to guess the right answer, or more likely to than if there were 5 options. So I think on that basis, I think we'll be able to tip a third of the Hive upwards going the right way. So I think I'm going to trust the Hive on this one.
Okay. If you were going to play, what would you say?
I think Split the Room, because it's the one that's got the most sort of simplified working. But yeah, I only know that I've seen it relatively recently. I don't know how far back it dates.
Well, let's find out. The correct answer is actually bracketeering. So we trusted the Hive. We want to see lots of green now, and Hive green if you're right. Oh, that is cursed. 30, 35 and 35 are the percentages there. Mistrusting would have been the only way to get to that one there. Yes, 30% getting the right answer, bracketeering, and well done. 15 points to you. You have indeed split the room somewhat, 35, 35 and 30. So I think just one fewer person going for bracketeering than the other 2. For what it's worth, bracketeering was way back in Party Pack 4. Split the Room was Party Pack 5, and most recently Talking Points in Party Pack 7. Push the Button would have been in 6, and the other option, which may have helped out a little bit, Guespionage, was in Party Pack 3. Didn't turn up there. So, no points to you, Shakes, but you've got a mistrust left, and you can take the question yourself. 15 points if you did get bracketeering in the Hive there. Back to the board for our final selection. Still 70 points up for grabs here, Shapes. Are you going London Underground, or are you going for ABBA?
I think I'm going to go for London Underground. I think ABBA will be useful to keep for the final phase. So,
Kings of England, Fonts and ABBA in the final. We'll worry about that in a little while. For now, though, Hive, over to you. 4 options. Here's your question. Which of these London Underground lines contains the most stations? Victoria District, Bakerloo, Circle. Time. Any of those go past your front door, Shapes?
Not quite, but I'm about 15 minutes walk from the district line.
It's not bad. 21 players have attempted in the Hive.
So I'm seeing if I can work it out by elimination. Now, I remember in one of the games of Buzz Off I played, there was a question in the final round of things to do with the circle line.
Yes, I think that was a lupine question, if memory serves.
And one of them was the number of stations on it. I think it's something like 40.
Lupine certainly had a London Underground question. May not have been that one, but yeah. That rings a vague bell.
I'm fairly sure it's not Victoria, because although it sort of does cover pretty much the whole north-south axis. The thing with the Victoria one is there's a long distance between each of the stations. It's relatively quick to cover that amount of distance. Bakerloo, I remember sort of about 10 years ago when one of my friends, when I sort of rather foolhardily gave in, agreed to join one of my friends on that thing where you attempt to visit all of the stations in one day.
Oh, okay, yes.
The Bakerloo line is just sort of one straight start to finish line, because that was the very welcome 90 minutes of respite in the mid-afternoon, because you do that part of the map all in one go. Right. And so if it was about an hour and a half, but again at the sort of far end, the far end, so the bits outside of central London, there's a big gap between each of the stations, so there's not as many per mile on that bit. I think there may be something like 30, 35 there. But the district line, that has several branches. So there's like the branch that goes out to Ealing Broadway, which is the one I live near. Then it goes out to Richmond, also goes to Wimbledon. There's a sort of bit that breaks off towards Olympia. And then it goes all the way sort of through central London and also out towards to Upminster. And there are quite a lot of stops there. Is it enough though?
More pertinently, though, while you're still thinking about that, do you think enough of the Hive would know this to make that mistrust worth a go, or not?
I don't know, because I imagine more people are going to look at seeing the general sort of amount of each colour on the map, without necessarily having counted the stations.
Which you have, sort of.
And I think because, I mean, it goes Wimbledon Park, Southfields, East Putney, Putney Bridge, Fulham Broadway. I'm not going to list them all, don't worry.
I was to say we are onto the second loop of this thinking time.
Right, so there's about 8 or 9 on that branch. There's several going all the way out to Ealing. It breaks off towards Richmond as well.
Come on, what are we doing? I'm going to press you for an answer now, Shakes.
I think it must. Must be. I mean, if not, we just sort of write off this round and sort of go on to the next one, and it's all fine. I think the district line. Also, I think the district and the circle line sort of run along the same set of stations at one point. So for that part, those stations are on both lines. So I don't think the ones with the circle hits that the district doesn't is opposite. It is more than the other way around. I think there's more district, but not circle.
I know what you're saying. So we're going district?
So district, yeah.
Let's lock in district. 21 players have attempted this in the Hive. Let's see how many gave us the right answer. Green if you're right. It's a lot of red. But you are right. Good decision and well done in the Hive if you gave me district. 38% of you give me the right answer there. That is 14 points to you if you did give me that. Very well done. Yeah, the district line... it's got nearly twice as many as the circle line, which is the next most. 60 stations on the district line, 36 on the circle, 25 on Bakerloo, and just 16 on Victoria. The central line may have muddied the waters somewhat, 49 on that one, but it didn't come up. So we've salvaged something from this round there, Shapes. Another 70 points going on to your jackpot. Let's check in with the Hive at the end of that phase. Cola just getting that last one there. Silent Marine picking up a couple. Starskunk getting a couple there. Nobody getting all three, so we've got no perfect scores. New leader, in fact, all change at the top. Andrew goes into the top with 64 for getting first and third. Jack is now in second with 62, and Vision drops down to third with 60 points. Nobody getting a perfect round there, including Shapes, but you do move up to 270 points in your bank. Let's see if we can add any more. That is the end of phase number 3. So just thinking ahead to the final phase, we've got ABBA singles, we've got fonts, and we've got Kings of England. and one more to be determined from phase number 4. Bit of a tricky round there, Shapes. Not a perfect sweep that time, but you've got 3 in the first round, 2 in the second, 1 in the third. Hopefully, we're not setting a trend. We don't want to get a 0
there's
in
better
phase 4.
not be a path that continues.
That is what is to be avoided. But there's still time for plenty of points. 80 plus 90 plus 100 potentially available, which would be 270 points, which is what you're on at the moment. So you could still potentially double your bank, taking you up to a potential maximum of 540, which could land you in second place if you get a perfect phase 4 and you can ace the final phase as well. Let's go on with the game. It's the 4th phase, the phase number 4, the last one before the final phase. Let's go. 80 points for this first question. 2 options to be displayed, and your board is: which of these countries' capital cities appears the earliest in the alphabet? Which of these Summer Olympic Games held their opening ceremony the closest to the location of the original 1896 Games? Which of these values of British coinage was minted the most by the Royal Mint in 2020? And on a resistor, which of these colour bands represents the highest numerical value?
Okay, so
What are you thinking?
okay, so 3 of these look quite doable, and 1 looks less doable. I don't know, sort of how well known the colour of resistor values, how well known that is. But if I have the option of mistrusting, then that might be one.
Could be a
Later,
wild
it's
card
probably
for you.
not one to keep to the final phase because it might be sort of difficult to
gauge.
sort of differentiate that from the other questions there.
Sure.
But it might be better to keep the ones for later in this phase that are more likely to be gettable. So we want to sort of take out the next most tricky one early while there's still only 2 options. So let's go for the one about coins first, please.
Coins, okay. Hive, over to you. 2 options to be displayed. Shapes 80 points up for grabs. Hive, here is your question. Which of these values of British coinage was minted the most by the Royal Mint in 2020? Is it 20p or £1? Time. So, 2020, the year we're all so desperately trying to forget about in many ways. 22 players have answered in the Hive. That's the highest number of players who've answered so far in the game. Any strong thoughts here, Shapes?
I'm just trying to think, is it at all possible that this is anything other than what it is intuitively? Which you'd expect to be the 20p, just because it's a lower value, so you need more of them to sort of reach the same value. When they get bagged up to get sort of sent off from sent off to the bank from the shops, they get put in bags where there's more of them in each bag. You'd expect it to be more.
Depends altogether, I suppose, whether you're sending out comparable values, whereas you might send out, I don't know, £20,000 worth of 20p's. You might send out £100,000 worth of pounds, for example. I don't know. It might be the other way around. It depends how much store you set by. Just to clarify, it is the physical number of coins, not the value, not the total value.
It's like you know how sort of after an amount of time, your wallet ends up sort of swimming in low value coins. Like every time you sort of get change from something, every time you sort of buy something, you end up with more of the lower value coins from the change that you've been given.
I have to say, I hate cash. I hate having cash. I can just about tolerate having paper money, but as much as possible, I will try. I mean, if I have coins, I tend not even to bring them out. They sit in the car. They're very useful for paying for parking meters and such like. Although most parking meters these days are contactless payment, so Yeah, I try and carry counts as little as possible. But anyway, that's by the by. All three answering options are available to you. It's up to you. Do you want to, say, use the Hive, or do you want to have a go yourself?
I think it's going to be a good idea to keep all the options for the second and third questions, so I'm going to answer this one. I'm going to say 20p.
20p. Okay, we will lock in 20p. And we'll go to the Hive. 22 players attempted this in the Hive. Let's see how many of them were right. Green if you were.
Oh.
The Hive were very much in the know. 86% getting the right answer, which is not what you thought. Yes, you're going in the wrong direction there. £1. There were 55,840,169 nice pounds. Conversely, there were 32.725 million 20p's. The pound, not the most populous coin that year. The 50p was the most populous. 66,841,375 were minted, including 2 variations to mark both diversity and, of course, the British withdrawal from the European Union, the Brexit 50p, which ended up having a face value less than what it would had it not needed to exist in the first place, but it's neither here nor there. 5p and 10p could have come as well, 49 and 45 million respectively. Wrong decision there, Shapes, but you have still got all 3 answering options available. 4 points if you did give me £1 in the Hive. Very well played. Let's go back to the board. So, Resistors, you're thinking about seeing third. So it's a question of what you want to leave till the end and what you want to get rid of now. 80 points up for grabs.
Okay.
I've got to do the next one in the voice of Alan Rickman, by the way, Shapes, just so you're aware.
Right. Okay, then. I think we'll do the capital cities one next, please.
Capital cities. It's a geography question, and I'm going to get into voice. Thank you very much to Starskunk for this request. And Hive, over to you. Which of these countries' capital cities appears the earliest in the alphabet? Turkmenistan, Kyrgyzstan, Afghanistan. I can't hear myself over the music. Fine. Which of these countries' capital cities appears the earliest in the alphabet? Turkmenistan, Kyrgyzstan, or Afghanistan? 21 players have attempted in the Hive. This is, I mean, I say staple quiz knowledge, but we're getting out into sort of the Far East sort of countries. Eastern Asia. Are you familiar with the capital cities?
So I know one for sure, and I know one city, but I'm not sure which of the other 2 it's the capital of.
Right, okay.
So I know I can rule out Afghanistan because that's Kabul.
Right.
And the other city I know is Bishkek. And it's one of, it's either Turkmenistan or Kyrgyzstan. And I can't remember which one's which or what the other one would be. So it's a bit trickier here what to decide to do. I think it's possibly a bit more of a risk, a bit too much of a risk to sort of guess on it.
So it's whether you trust or mistrust the Hive.
Yeah.
Lot to laugh. Welcome to the stream. And yeah, James, it's one of not very many impressions I can do, apparently, Alan Rickman, which is as good an impression. Thank you. Not a bad impression, James. I appreciate that. So either that or Christopher Lee, which is just my voice, but slightly lower. What are we thinking? If we're thinking we're going to use the Hive, we're going to trust them or mistrust them?
I'm hoping enough of them know at least what I knew to be able to rule out Afghanistan. And then, again, sort of the ones who know outright which is the answer, plus the ones who sort of guess on top of that are enough to sort of reach the sort of level required to make the plurality.
Okay.
Again, with it being 3 options, I'm hoping that this is sort of something that there's a favourable chance of happening. So I think I'm going to trust the Hive on this one.
And if you were going to play, what would you have said?
I think I'd said Kyrgyzstan.
Kyrgyzstan. Did I say Kyrgyzstan before? I meant Kyrgyzstan. My bad. Let's have a look.
I don't know if I'm saying it right or not.
Yours sounds more right. You would have said Kyrgyzstan. The correct answer is actually Turkmenistan. So it's all up to the Hive now. We want to see, well, some green at least. Let's have a look. I think that's the first time that's ever happened. I looked at the because I get the stats in the inspector. It didn't matter whether you trusted or mistrusted because all three answers are plurality, and we do find in favour of the player. A perfect 33% split. 7 players going for each answer. Well done if you are among the 7 who gave me Turkmenistan, the capital of which is Ashgabat.
Of course, yes.
Kyrgyzstan is Bishkek, as you pointed out, but weren't quite sure. Afghanistan is Kabul, which I always thought was pronounced Kabul. So every day's a school day for me here. Other ones that didn't come up, Tajikistan and Uzbekistan, which are Dushanbe and Tashkent, respectively. Good decision to use the Hive. Didn't matter which way you went, but well done for not having a guess on that one. Dogfish, welcome to the stream. Good to have you with us. And yeah, 33% split. One more question, Shakes, before the final phase. Are you going to stick to your guns, send resistors in now, and Olympics to the final? Or are you going to change your mind?
I think I'm going to stick with that plan. I think sort of that having the Olympics question, that's going to be sort of easier to distinguish from the other questions already in the final. Okay,
resistors it shall be then. Hive, over to you. 4 options for this question. Shapes 90 points on the line here. And Hive, here is your question. On a resistor, which of these colour bands represents the highest numerical value? Green, red, blue or black? Jers, welcome to the stream. Ashgabat in Sotley, not Ashtabash. Time. 23, again, highest number of answerers in the Hive for any questions so far. What do you think? Green, red, blue or black?
I'm just looking at this and seeing these are 4 colours. I mean, I don't know that. I didn't know till seeing this question that resistors had numerical values that were sort of colour coded. This may be just some really well-known thing that I've just sort of never encountered and have had no idea was a thing.
AB Me is saying in chat, AB Me can confirm that they are colours. So that's something we can definitely confirm for sure. Tadaru saying we like colours.
I don't know if these are like sort of colours of resistor values that is like a thing that everybody knows, and I've just never sort of realised at any point during life that this was a thing. There's several things that everybody knows that I've sort of never encountered at any point, so it could well be that everybody does know this, but
question is, do you trust more people to not know this than you trust yourself to guess at the right answer? Because at this point, those are your options. You either
absolutely.
You either think you're more likely to guess, or is it more likely that most people have got this wrong, or plurality have got this wrong?
I reckon that there's going to have been a lot of guesses in this, and because there's 3 wrong options, there's not so much possibility that the number of people who do know it and the number of people who guess the right answer is enough to sort of outnumber the others. Although I don't need so many to sort of get lucky here, but there's more ways to go wrong. So I think I'm hoping that a lot of people are going to be answering this from the same perspective I am. So I'm going to say to mistrust the Hive.
All right, we will mistrust the Hive. What would you have said if you were guessing?
Oh, goodness. I'd say black, maybe.
blue is the correct answer. You would have gone with black. Let's see how the Hive got on. 23 answers green if you're right. We do want to see lots of red if we can, and we have. In fact, plurality of the Hive also going with black. 48% thinking the same as you. As you right to mistrust the Hive. They didn't know it in plurality. The correct answer there was actually blue. 30% going for that, and 17 points if you did give me blue in the Hive. Very well played. Yes, so the missing answer from there was grey, actually, which would have been the highest. 8, 6, 5, 1 and 0 respectively for grey, blue, green, red and black. The system has black at 0, brown at 1, and then the colours of the rainbow in order without indigo, then grey for 8 and white at 9. So rainbow order with grey and white at the top and brown and black at the bottom. So 17 points if you did get a right answer. Well done, Shapes. You have picked up another 90 points for that. Let's check out the scores in the Hive at the end of that phase. Have we got any perfect rounds? Yes, Colo getting all 3 that round. One of only 2 people to do it, the other being Starskunk, who takes the lead with 84. Visions in second with 81, and Tadaru now in third with 78. There is still the final phase to go, so these scores may not be the same come the end. Gold, silver and bronze, of course, available for our worker drones. But Shapes, you are up to 440. That is your max bank for this game, and that is the end of phase 4. So not a bad day's work so far. 440 pennies. If you bank out the maximum at the end of the final phase, then you will take third place on the leaderboard, 15 points ahead of Jack Wilfred, currently in third on 425. But you've earned the 440. Now you've got to keep it. We've seen what can happen in this final phase in recent streams, and you don't have to answer anything else at this point, Shapes. It's all up to how well you can pitch the Hive. 4 questions that you rejected earlier on have been shuffled into a random order and placed into the final phase, along with one more, which will start this final phase off and set the benchmark. All you've got to do is place within the timeline, as it were, where you think the Hive, or how many of the Hive, what percentage of the Hive will have gotten any given answer right relative to the other ones. That's how the final phase works. Let's go there now. So your 440 pennies we have chopped up into 44, 66, 110 and 220. That's for 10%, 15%, 25% and 50% respectively. Those are the 4 values that you can win based on the next 4 decisions that you make. However, you have had a good run up to now, and we don't like to send anyone away empty-handed. So for every correct decision that you've made so far, we will underwrite your jackpot by 10 pennies, which means you will leave tonight with at least 80 pennies, 8 out of 12 questions correct. So that's what your baseline is. We want to add a lot more to that though, but you have to judge the Hive. So Hive will be coming to you exclusively for the questions and then discussing with Shapes thereafter. The first question is one that no one has seen before. The subsequent questions will be ones rejected from the previous phases. And for each of these questions, Hive, there will be 5 options. Good luck to you all. Shapes, good luck to you as well. Hive, here is the first question of the final phase. According to ProFightDB.com, which of these wrestlers has taken part in the most WWE matches? Brock Lesnar, Hulk Hogan, The Undertaker, The Rock, Stone Cold Steve Austin. Time. So, 21 attempting this one to set the benchmark. You a wrestling fan, Shapes?
Not really. I recognise, well, all of the names except Brock Lesnar.
Okay.
So if I was answering this, I'd probably be guessing on the ones that I sort of remember from the kind of the heyday of what was then WWF.
Yes, sort of the late 90s. Early noughties.
When it was basically sort of, you know, Hulk Hogan, The Undertaker, and Steve Austin being like the sort of the first mega stars of wrestling.
What would you have said? What would you have guessed if you were playing?
I'd have probably guessed if it was just like a free shot with nothing on it for Hulk Hogan, because he was like sort of virtually the kind of de facto face of pro wrestling for all that time.
Well, I can tell you the correct answer is actually The Undertaker, 1021. The Rock 527, Stone Cold Steve Austin 416, Brock Lesnar 244, Hulk Hogan actually the fewest of those, 217. And surprisingly, none of these are anywhere near the top 10. The only one with any real non-WWE cred is John Cena in 7th with 1,392 recorded matches. And the highest, incidentally, is Kane, the on-screen brother of The Undertaker, with 1,785 matches. Fun fact from Oni for you. Kane, real name Glenn Jacobs, is the mayor of Knox County, Tennessee, and instead of wrestling, offers a fascinating insight through his Twitter posts on what happens when you take unprotected hits to the head with a steel chair for 10 years. So if you want to go and investigate that, then I encourage you to do that. Out of the 21 players who answered, how many said The Undertaker? 57.1%. And thank you very much for the follow there, Biggie Swolls. Lovely to have you with us. Thank you for the follow. We're getting close to that 1,000 follower mark. 57.1%. That's a pretty good benchmark, actually. Just over half. It gives you a bit of leeway on this first question, depending whether an easy or a hard one comes up. But 10 points if you did give me the right answer to that in the Hive. Well played there. So, Shakes, for 44 pennies, you're going to need to make a decision higher or lower than 57.1%. And Hive, here is the question. Which of these fonts was designed the most recently? Verdana, Times New Roman, Arial, Impact, Comic Sans. Time. So, the fonts have come back for us. 44 pennies on the line here. Very briefly, what do you think the answer is likely to be?
From that lot, I would say Times New Roman, just because it sort of looks more. It looks more sort of classical. Like it's the only. I think it's the only one with serifs from that range, from that selection. And I assume its name sort of references like the Times of London, which dates back like a couple of centuries. The others sort of feel like they're more... they're all more modern. I mean, Verdana was created specifically to be read on a screen rather than on paper.
I will just clarify that we are looking for the most recent, not the oldest.
Oh, yes.
I mean, it doesn't affect you either way, but yeah, it sounds just...
In that case, that makes it... I would say probably Verdana then. Actually, no, probably Impact.
One of those
Arial
two.
and Comic Sans, I think, come from the early days of computers.
Let's take a look. The correct answer is... It is Verdana. So your first instinct was right there. Whether that affects your decision or not remains to be seen. 57.1% is where you are batting around. Do you think more or fewer than that would have got this one right?
I think people probably mostly have sort of got it down to 3. I think they'll probably have sort of ruled out Times New Roman and Arial as being the most recent. Impact, I think people might think of that because of it being the one that gets used on loads of memes. And Comic Sans is sort of the butt of a lot of jokes.
You only use Comic Sans ironically.
So I think the sort of responses are going to be split between those 3. So it suggests that the number of people who got this right would be lower than 57% of everybody answering.
So we're going to go A?
So I'm going to say that it's going to go, it'll be at A, yes.
Okay. How many people gave a right answer to that question? Good decision. 42.9%. Not a lot under, but Yeah, quite a few getting it. In fact, your analysis of the situation was pretty good. That was the plurality answer there. Comic Sans 23, Impact 19, and then, as you pointed out, Ariel and Times New Roman were largely dismissed, 9 and 4% respectively. So Times New Roman 1931, Impact 1965, Ariel 1982, Comic Sans 94, and Verdana 1996. And Oni saying, as a font designer and general font connoisseur, I will go out to bat for Comic Sans and state that all of the above fonts are equally as shit as each other. You heard it here first, everyone. That is the official word on the story, I think. 124 is what you're up to now, Shapes. That is in the bank and safe. 44 pennies going out to you on that decision. Very well played. And 13 points if you did give me Verdana in the Hive. 66 pennies is what is up for grabs on this next one. And you've got a choice of 3, lower than 42, higher than 57, or somewhere in between. Hive, we're coming to you, and here is the question. Which of these Summer Olympic Games held their opening ceremony the closest to the location of the original 1896 Games? 1980, 1956, 1904, 1920, 1988. What a bastard of a question that is.
I know.
Do you know? Is this something that you know as a quizzer? Do you know sort of the associations of the cities with the years? 20 players attempting in the Hive, by the way.
I should do, but then sort of the ones in the middle came up. It's like I sort of realised, especially with longer lists of chronological things, I realised I can put like 3 or 4 of them together. I could like say all the ones that happened in such and such decade, but not necessarily in the right order. So I know that 98 was in South Korea, 1980 was Moscow, Russia, Soviet Union as it was then. 56 was that. I'm wondering if that was the previous time Tokyo hosted it, or whether that was 64. Pretty sure 60 is Rome, and then 04 and 20. Was 04 the first one in America? And 1920, oh god, was that Amsterdam? That was around then. But I'm hoping that people are going to be sort of equally fuzzy on the older ones here, that it's going to split the answer a bit.
Well, so I think what I'm going to do first of all is reveal the correct answer, see if that has any impact on you in your decision making. The correct answer is actually 1920. And Lingomaniac, welcome to the stream. Apparently posting a link there, but or something, but it didn't ask. Yeah, welcome Lingomaniac. I'm sorry, Nightbot's deleted your message. 1920 is the answer. Fewer than 43, higher than 57, somewhere in between.
I think it's still going to be lower than 43. I'm hoping the vote's going to be split between those 3 middle answers.
So we're going A?
Yes.
Let's lock in A. How many people got the right answer? Good decision. Just 10% getting that, and another 66 pennies going on to your total. 19 points if you did get that in the Hive. I was slightly smiling to myself here, Shades, because you were saving me a lot of time by being completely and utterly correct on all of those years. Apart from one, I think there was one you missed. 1896, of course, was Athens in Greece. 1920, you said, was...
That's the one I guessed was Amsterdam.
Antwerp, yes, 1,310 miles away. Next would have been 1980.
Moscow.
1,383 miles away. Then 1988.
Seoul.
Seoul, 5,293 miles away. Then it was 1904.
That's the one in America. Was it St. Louis?
St. Louis, 5,688 miles away. And the furthest away, see if you can work it out from this, 1956 was the furthest.
That must have been... I think that appeared in the opening ceremony of the last year's Tokyo Olympics. I think that must have been Tokyo as well. It's
a bit further. It's Melbourne, Australia,
9,288
miles away.
Melbourne's the one when... everyone went there, but they couldn't get horses that far, so they had the equestrian in Stockholm, wasn't it?
Oh, really? Only telling us that Tokyo was 64, but amazing knowledge there.
Yeah, it was sort of in the region.
I'd say that's a question you could have had a good stab at yourself, but it's gone over to the Hive in the final phase, and you still made the right decision, so very well played there. 10% getting it right. 66 pennies to 190. 2 more questions tonight, and it's going to get a bit harder now because you've now got fewer than 10%, between 10 and 43, between 53 and 57, and more than 57. Let's see what you make of this next question. 110 pennies on the line, and here it is. Which of these ABBA singles was released the earliest? Dancing Queen, Voulez-Vous, Lay All Your Love on Me, Don't Shut Me Down, SOS. Time. You an ABBA fan?
I'm a relatively late arrival to their just wonder. I think a lot of us, when we were sort of growing up, were thinking, "Oh, that's old music. That's so terrible," and then you just sort of come and realise just how sort of absolutely blue chip quality songwriting that. And performing that they have in their canon. I think the sort of same kind of reappraisal a lot of other people do, because they sort of, when they released the was it ABBA Gold?
That's the album I grew up with. Yeah.
In the 90s. So everybody came to all of those songs at the same time.
Yeah.
And might not necessarily be able to sort of identify the which one of these came first.
History, yeah. I mean, if you were going to guess at an answer, what would you have said?
I would probably have said I'd probably have gone for SOS, because I think the first 3 are all sort of from the sort of the disco phase, which was like the late 70s. But I think they're all very close together. Don't Shut Me Down, I know, is not the answer here, because that's the one that came out last year on the Voyage album.
Well, I can tell you, SOS is the right answer. It was the earliest, and you're also right, Don't Shut Me Down was from Voyage from November last year. So, that's not the question, though. The question is, how many of the Hive will have got this? More specifically, what percentage? For 110 pennies. To take you up to 300, this is.
It's going to be A or B. I think it's. 10% or
10% of
how many
90
people was
is
it?
19, so about 2 would be 10%.
So yeah, we're looking at sort of 2-3 people getting this, and it's above, and it goes from A to being in B, and 40% is going to be something like 8 people. Needing to give the answer for it to go over to C. So, just on the sort of law of averages of what it would be if everybody guessed, I think it would be most likely to fall in that, because, the sort of range covered by B is quite large. So I think that's probably the most likely.
We're going to go B?
So it's what I'm going to go for anyway. Yes.
Okay, we'll lock in B. How many people gave me SOS? Sound Logic, not quite slap bang in the middle of the 2, airing towards the top side, but it is the right answer. 31.6% getting that, and 14 points to you if you did give me SOS in the chat. Very well done, Shapes. 110 pennies added to your total, you're up to 300. But you could be getting 520, and I've forgotten to add on the underwrite amount. So actually, if you do manage to get this last question, you're tied for second with Sampster on 520. If you don't, then you drop into tied 7th with Bash. So quite a bit riding on this final question for you. Can you remember what it was?
It was the Kings of England, wasn't it?
Kings of England. For 220 pennies. Hive, your final question of this game. Here it is. Which of these names represents the greatest number of Kings of England? George, William, John, Edward, Richard. time. We've got a couple fewer. Just 17 answering that one for this final question. Whether that's going to make it easier or harder remains to be seen. 220 pennies on the line. How is your knowledge of the British throne?
I wouldn't be able to sort of tell you when each and every one of them were. That would be one of my former TV teammates who can name every single start and end year of every monarch's year. Which is why I sort of said, come on television with me. Come on, it'll be fun. Come on. Come on.
And hello, Lupin. Welcome to the stream as well. Cripes indeed. Cripes is right.
But I know the approximate order because just knowing that there was only one King John. I think there's been a Richard III, so I know there's been at least 3, but I don't think there's been a Richard IV. There's been an Edward VII, and there's been a William IV, but I don't think there's been a 5th. So going on the highest number of each of these that I know there has been, I think it's Edward.
What about George's?
George the Sixth was the one just before Elizabeth II.
So you're thinking Edward?
Yeah, I think of these it's Edward.
Jogging, welcome to the stream, and the correct answer is Edward. So you're right. You are almost exactly right on your numbers as well. I'll get into more detail on that in a minute. Question now, the 220 penny question. How many of the Hive got this right? Fewer than 10%, bear in mind 17 answers. Fewer than 10%, 10 to 31.5, 31.5 to 43, 43 to 57, or more than 57%.
Just trying to work out what the numerical values of those would be. So if we were sort of rounded that to 30%, so that would be 5.1 people giving it correct answers. In order to be at the sort of lower end of the C range, 42 would be more like you need 7 people to get that right, and for 57 that would be something like 8.5 plus. So you'd need sort of 11 to be certain of it being E. But then it's a relatively straightforward question. But again, I'm an old person. And again, there's sort of people from outside the UK where this isn't such a big part of the history curriculum. And there's sort of younger people here who probably haven't sort of had it all kind of drilled into them at this point yet. So I'm sort of thinking 12 out of 17, is that too many? Or it's feasible that many people would get it right or above. But then they also had the time pressure on answering this as well. So
many factors. We're coming to the end of the second one. What are we going for?
Okay, I'm going to just got to kind of grab the nettle here and go for one. I think I'm going to say D.
D?
Yep.
Let's have a look. How many people said Edward? Great logic there. 47.1%. Very, very well logicked out there. 10 points to you in the Hive if you got that one right as well. 220 pennies added to your total there, Shapes. And yeah, you're almost bang on. 1 King John, 3 King Richards, 4 Williams, 6 Georges. There have actually been 8 Edwards. I think there was an Edward the 8th. Yeah, very, very well played. Right decision. You knew the stuff and you've pitched the Hive perfectly. And you are going to go away with 520 pennies, which gives you second place on the leaderboard, tied with Samster. What a game. What a game there, Shapes. You played an absolute blinder. You must be feeling very pleased.
I am so pleased with how that went because, I mean, the times I've played the final round as a worker bee, I very rarely sort of hit the right answer at all.
Well,
so
you've
sort of being able to sort of logic it out, and I wasn't sure if I'd picked a sort of good range of questions that were going to give a quite wide range of answer. And I realised I'd put sort of two quite what I thought were two that were going to get very low rates of correct answers. So I thought that might make it difficult to sort of pull them apart. But the way it's worked out, there's quite a sort of wide spread between.
The read on this, actually, the best answered question in the final phase there was the first one that no one had seen, the Undertaker question. So that's the way it goes. Well, you've been
the other thing I've spotted now, and I can't unsee it, so I'm going to tell you so that
please do.
Everyone can't see it. Once you sort of, if you sort of catch the look at the percentage symbol in the wrong way, it looks like it says 96, and now I can't unsee it.
Oh God, no! Why have you done that to me? You bad
I can't
man.
suffer this alone.
Yeah, and now we're all suffering it as well. Thanks for that. It's an inverse nice. 10 inverse nice and 31.6 inverse nice. You're right, of course you're right, but yeah, that's rather distressing that you've pointed that out. Thanks for that. You can leave now. You left us all with the percentage sign is actually a 96. Shapes, you've been a smashing contestant as ever. It's been great to have you here, and thank you very much for playing. Very well done. 520 pennies going your way.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
No problem. Take care, mate. Bye-bye.
See you there.
So Shapes leaves us with 520 pennies and takes second place on the leaderboard, tying it up with Samster, both of them falling short of It's Sotley, who's still at the top with 750. Can he be beaten? We'll have to wait and see. And we need to check out the final scores in the Worker Drones game. Let's see how we got on. A couple of questions right there. There's another couple, some threes, another few threes, and 3 was the best we got. Between you did manage to get them all right, but there are the final scores. Third place going to Jack Wilfred with 100 points and a bronze medal. Starskunk 107 and the silver medal, but our winner with 118 got your number. And the gold medal, it's Calibrated Vision. Very well done to all of you. And for everybody, your points will be converted into pennies and added on when the credits roll in just a minute, as will the medals automatically. Very, very well done to our top 3 there. And huge thanks to Oni as well for a charming and very, very slick question pack, as I thought. That was my assessment of it. Very slick, some really good stuff in there. Some stuff that I didn't know, and some very interesting new information for me, and some stuff that sort of felt like it was in my wheelhouse. So thank you very much for that, Oni. And Ayanyo, yes, hello, welcome to the stream. I did see your name cropping up in the Hive, but obviously my name scraper doesn't pick you up till you type in public chat, but welcome to the stream. If you do, give us a follow if you're not already, Ianyo, because it'd be great. And we do stream 3 times a week here generally. Danny Boy, welcome to the stream as well, and also we're trying to get to 1,000 followers in time for a thing in the new year, but do give us a follow and welcome to the stream. Glad you have enjoyed yourself. So stick around, because after the credits I'm going to do another game or two of Falling Through Space, and then after that there is going to be a post-stream party in the Discord. If anyone is interested, I've got a Hackbox version of Moneybox. We'll be playing an old pack of mine, but I just want to make sure it's working, get some feedback, because this is going to be used at Quiz Night Live a week on Saturday, so it would be good to do a test of that. So just need a handful of people if you fancy coming to do some post-stream party money box in just a few minutes. But I'll roll the credits first and we'll do some Falling Through Space. Thank you again to Oni. Well done to our top 3 worker drones, and very well done to Shapes. 520 pennies. You have been watching The Hive, and I will see you in a few minutes' time. camera. That's the one I want. Well, I'll put the camera on as well. I don't know why I went to the just cam screen, because I need to load another game. Many thanks again to Oni. Delightful question pack there, and I do love playing the Hive. It's always good to have a bit of a chat with people, and well done to Shakes picking up 520 pennies out of that game. So we're going to do heads or tails in space again, and then we're going to raid into the server, which is there, for some Hackbox Money Box. Just to get the make sure it's all working ahead of QNL. I thought it would take me a few days. I've done it all today. It looks like it was a slightly easier implementation than I thought it was going to be, and I think it's working. But that's what we're testing for. So let me get heads or tails in space up and loaded. There we go, and go. There we go. Run one, maybe two of these, and I'm going to stop the space bonus right there. Either whispers or public chat. Oh, Colo wanted me to make the balls bigger, didn't he? I should have done that. By the way, come and join one of them. 10 pennies for every player who joins the game. So the more players join, the bigger the jackpot is. 30 seconds if you want to come in. Big decision, left or right? Which way do you go? Can I make them cubes? I could make them cubes, actually. Let me see. If I change the mesh filter. There you go, now they're cubes. Make them cylinders if you prefer. We'll stick with spheres for now. Right, who's going out? Bye, left-hand people. At the game, if you survive that, your name has appeared in the centre of the screen, left or right again. No more pennies are added at this point. If you don't pick one of the columns, then you'll be eliminated automatically. 210 pennies going to the winner. Which will it be, left or right? And that's everyone back in. You seem to have favoured... In fact, you've split it exactly down the middle. 5 on each side. Agitate the balls, yes. You need to agitate the balls. Who's going? It's the left-hand side again. Bye. So, AB Me, Dragon, Tyson, Jack, and Star Skunk. 210 pennies. Left or right? Okay, those balls are still falling. The balls don't get destroyed at any point. They continue falling for all time. AB Me, Star Skunk, left or right? That's everyone in. 3 going right, 2 going left. Small balls, yeah, I need to make them bigger. It's right going this time. Dragon or Starskunk, 210 pennies to one of you, or possibly neither of you if you both go the same way. We can have no winners on this game. So, to guarantee a winner, you need to go in different directions. Are they playing chicken? They're going to play chicken now. Left or right? 15 seconds. If you're still in the middle, you get nothing. 10 seconds. Starskunk's broken cover and gone left. Dragon has gone right. Who's going to win? It's Dragon! Starskunk, you've gone into space. And Dragon, you get 210 pennies. Well done. Yay. So, we'll do that one more time, and because I promised Kodo I would. Did that write data to the drive? Yes, it did. Refresh the app. Well done, Dragon. Because I promised Kodo I would, I'm going to make the balls slightly bigger. So let's go 1.5, 1.5, and 1.5, and apply to prefab ball, and delete. Right, one more time. Set the balls on fire. Good night and big balls. That might be too big. Actually, no, I kind of like that. Goodness gracious, great balls of fire. Indeed. Interested to see if they all fall out. 9 on each side, 180 pennies. And there's 200, so 20 people are in. I am very curious as to see whether the balls will make good their exit or not. That might be too big, said the actress to the bishop. I love that expression. Said the actress to the bishop. It's much wittier than that's what she said. Yeah, you're already in, chaps. You can't come in again, I'm afraid. Here we go. Let's find out. Do the balls escape? No! I need to agitate the balls. Oh, God. Oh, Lord. Well, I guess they're just going to fill up then. While I'm going to make them smaller. Those are too big. There we go. Slightly smaller balls. Well, hopefully half of them will clear it now anyway. And there's everyone in who needs to be... Ah, there they go. Cheerio. Toodaloo. Yeah, there's a little collider in the middle of the platform because they were just stacking up and the collider's supposed to agitate them when they land. But I don't know if it's actually doing that. Starsky, Colo, Silent Marine, left or right? They might actually clear with only a few in each pipe. The dragon couldn't possibly win twice, right? Colo, left or right? Colo's gone right as well. It's Dragon again! Dragon! Unbelievable scenes. You have won twice. This seems to be the way to go, Dragon. Nicely done. Yes, many congratulations. That's another 200 pennies. That's it. That's all the game is, really. Where's the most recent ball? There's one. Right. And I need to... Right. No, that one actually wants to stay there. These two are imposters, though. There you go. Bye. So, there we go. Dragon winning all the pennies there. Yes, I've decided 1.5 is too big. 1, though, is probably about right. There we go. Right. Balls in space. Need a better name for that game. Yeet. Yes, yeeting them out. Anyway, that's going to be the end of that for tonight. I'll beat the bee on Saturday. We might do both on Saturday. That could be fun. Let's refresh the app, and we'll just do some endgame pennies for everyone else. Oh, that's the bot subscription expired. That's a shame. Endgame 68, if you want some more pennies. They're available. Right, we're going to sort of self-raid into the Discord server. Right there. So do come and join us if you want to do some Hackbox Money Box testing with an older pack of mine. It'd be great to see you there. Oh, hello. Oh, Oni! Thank you very much for the gifted sub. 2 Persephone's Twitch, but I should give you more pennies. And we'll call that emotes. There you go. Another 82 pennies, you lucky people. Stay until the end, you get extra emotes. Right, that's going to be it. What's coming up the rest of the week? Euroquision tomorrow. Euroquision is a thing. And Shapes, message from our sponsor, we like Shapes.
Greetings from atop my mountain of Hive pennies.
Greetings indeed, Shapes. Thank you very much for the 22-month subscription there. Very grateful to you. And well done again on your performance in the Hive tonight. Yeah, Euroquision's happening on Saturday, hosted by Score Count over on Ash's channel. Yeah, make sure you're following him if you're not already. Topper's back on Sunday with Checklist and Elimination. So, again, go give him a follow. That sounds like a great lineup for Sunday evening. Message from our sponsor, Dragon. No message, but 100 bits, which are very gratefully received. Thank you very much indeed, Dragon. And well done on all of your penny earning tonight in space. Good RNG favouring you there. As for me, remember, next week is finale week. So I'm streaming Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday. Monday's the unused one. All of them at 8 o'clock. So we've got Wordle, Data Leak, and The Escape Artist on Monday. Number One, Cryptex in the Abyss on Tuesday. And then Hacker, The Pyramid, the final of The Bridge, and the staff game of Google That on Thursday, which is the finale. And that all leads very nicely into Quiz Night Live, which is going to be the following Saturday and Sunday, which I'm very much looking forward to, hosting a few games up there myself, but most of all looking forward to just getting to meet all the people I've been getting to know over the last 2 or 3 years, and probably having a few drinks as well. So yeah, that will be live streamed onto Ash's channel, twitch.tv/80_bash. So if you can't be there in person, do make sure you join us online. It's going to be a great weekend, and that's the weekend after this one. So Saturday week, that's going to be starting. Hooray. I do owe only a beer, so I'm sure many beers will be drunk over the course of the weekend. Anyway, we're going to head over to the Discord for a Moneybox Hackbox post-stream party. I'm going to try and keep it quite brief because we're already at 10 o'clock, and yeah, we need to whiz through this. Thank you all very much for joining me this evening. Thank you again to Oni for the question pack, to all our players, and especially to Shapes for such a splendid performance in the Hive. Until Saturday evening. What have we got on Saturday, actually? I didn't tell you what's happening Saturday. What is happening Saturday? Crossfire, The Purge, and Risky Business. That's going to be a good stream. The Purge from Adam, Risky Business from Lupine, Crossfire from Jogging? Yes, Crossfire from Jogging. So make sure you join us on Saturday for that as well. Yes, off to the Discord then. I've been Royal Flush. You have been watching Game Night. Until next time, take care. Be splendid and wonderful and marvellous to each other. Take care. Peace out and good night.